Hello and welcome to the Connect Cape Fear podcast, where locals, newcomers, and travelers in and around Wilmington, North Carolina find community and connection in this beautiful place that we call home. Our guest today is Jackie Houser from the Flexner Houser Injury Law firm.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
That's right.
Hey, nailed it. How are you doing today, Jackie?
I'm doing good.
Kind of fun. When we were talking off camera, we figured out, some 6 degrees of separation.
That's right.
So we actually know each other.
And we didn't know it.
We didn't know that we knew each other, which always makes these podcasts so much better.
Yeah.
So we have a little comfortability. Comfortability?
Whatever.
Comfortability? Whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Jackie, tell us a little bit. How long have you been in Wilmington for?
I've been in Wilmington myself officially for about 3 years.
Okay.
My son moved down here back in 2006 to go to college. And so I've been a frequent flyer down to Wilmington because he never left, as most of them do once they come to UNC Wilmington. And so eventually I finally made it my home as well after I fought for so long not to do that.
Where did you come from?
I'm a North Carolina girl.
Okay.
So I lived up in Goldsboro.
Okay.
And my dad was military, so we traveled around, of course. But my mom was from Goldsboro, from Wayne County. And so whenever he retired, they retired back to Goldsboro. And so I didn't have to travel too far to get here.
Yeah. Now, did you have your law firm before you came to Wilmington and just brought it with you, or what was the business transaction there?
I worked for a law firm. I started out as a paralegal with a law firm in Goldsboro, and I worked there 20 years. And then once my kids were grown, I decided to go to law school. And so I went to law school and came back and worked for the same firm that I'd been a paralegal with, and stayed there another 10 years, and then decided to branch out on my own and be a sole practitioner versus working in a big firm.
Good for you. What's that like, making that not late in life, that's the wrong way to say it, later in life, professional, change, I guess, to go to law school and take the bar and all that stuff?
It's scary.
Yeah.
Because it's like chips in, all the chips on the table going in. So whenever I went to law school, I went out of state. So I sold my house, shipped the kids off to college, and I was like, sure do hope I pass.
Yeah.
Hope this
Big
works
step
out.
of faith, huh?
And I did it the same thing again back in 2021, whenever I came down here, sold the house, did it all again, just sold everything and said, I'm moving to Wilmington and buying a law firm.
What is that like for the people? We have a lot of people that watch that are, thinking about moving here to start a business. And that's a very scary proposition in and of itself. What do you say to people like that are like, you know what, maybe I've been working for somebody else for a long time and I just feel like it's maybe time for me to step out on my own? Like, how did you steel your resolve for that? And what would you offer to other people if they're thinking about the same?
Oh, you have to do your homework. You have to understand, your audience and the area where you're going. What is your business, and is there going to be a market for it? That was already established here because I joined Mr. Flexner's firm knowing that he was going to retire within a certain amount of time, and that then I would then purchase the firm so I already knew that he had an established business, and that's something I would think about. I just probably wouldn't come here and open up something without doing that kind of research, but it still takes a great deal of faith and it's just kind of scary to step off the ledge and go, I'm going to go from knowing I'm going to get a paycheck to hoping I get a paycheck,
Yeah. So what's that, what do you do? Because you said faith and definitely courage. What are some of the things that you would recommend people do if they're like, I don't know if I have the courage to do this? Like, what did you do for yourself to go, nope, I'm selling the house, I'm moving to Wilmington, I can do this? It takes a lot of willpower in and of it yourself and self-confidence and things like that. But what would you offer to people that maybe feel like they need to strengthen that muscle a little bit?
Well, it does. It takes a lot of faith. And you just want, like I said before, you just have to do your homework. Whenever I was looking at purchasing this business, Mr. Flexner opened up all of his financial books to me and showed me everything. And so, I could see the history. I could see that, I could see what his budget was. I could work, can I work within that budget? So you certainly have to do your homework. It takes a lot of folks. You got to surround yourself with some strong folks who believe in you as well. You got to get rid of the naysayers.
Yeah.
And you do have to have the courage and the faith to do it. I'm a person of faith. And so, I often depend on my faith to lead me in certain ways. And so that was definitely a part of the recipe of making the change.
Yeah. The people thing is so important. Around here, around our office, Signal Fire Media, we call them energy vampires. Like, we do not want energy vampires in our space.
Right.
And you have to be able to identify quickly and then go, you got to move on from that as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And
sometimes it's just in your head. You just say, I don't know where that thought came from, but anyway.
So what attracted you to doing personal injury?
Well, the law firm I worked for so many years did just the opposite. They defended against personal injury claims. So the people that were injured would file a claim, and the insurance companies would then hire their own lawyers.
Right.
And that's
not to pay it.
Right.
That's
who I worked for.
Okay.
The people who said, we're not going to pay.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like that prosecutor defense attorney type of thing that we see on TV all the time.
Exactly.
Making the change, yeah.
So I just flipped the switch.
Okay.
And went from working for big giant insurance companies to people, to real live people. And I like working for people a lot better.
So would you say that you kind of know how the sausage is made over on the other side a little bit, and that makes you a better lawyer?
That's the first thing I look at whenever somebody comes in. I look at most time if you're like talking about a car wreck. If you're in a car wreck, you come in and I'll look at the report that the police officer prepared, and it'll mention the insurance companies, and I know automatically what their strategy is going to be.
Yeah.
There's some insurance companies who are like, deny. That's all we're going to do. We're going to deny. We're going to delay.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, I can have a good conversation with them about that. Same thing with medical malpractice. I know who the medical malpractice carriers are. I've gotten more verbal and verbose in workers' comp. That was something I didn't do a lot of on the defense side. We had other folks doing that. But since I've come over to the plaintiff side, we have a very vibrant workers' comp part of our practice as well.
Yeah. Why is it that you do what you do? Like, what do you love about it?
Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. Maybe because I like to argue. But I like to know reasons why. And so my major question was always why this, why that, and that's a lot of times what law is about, is finding out the why. But as I grew, I just found that I liked helping people. I like knowing information and being able to share that or to use that information to help people. And so, I got the greatest job in the world, I think, because every day I get to meet people that I can help. Or I get to call people and say, hey, come in, let's do a disbursement, or hey, we've settled your case, or sometimes it's bad news, hey, maybe not bad news for them. Hey, we're going to trial.
Yeah.
I love to go to trial.
Yeah.
But they may be going, oh my goodness, we're going to trial.
Yeah.
But I get to help them, and I get to help them through those processes. And it's just always good whenever, I kind of equate it to whenever I'm sitting in a doctor's office and I don't know what's wrong with me, and they walk in and tell me, and they can tell me the diagnosis because they run X, Y, and Z tests. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I get to do that on the legal side.
That's super cool. Yeah, you can quote case law or like legal precedent or stuff like that. No different than it. Yeah, something like that. something like that. You can go straight to a statute though too. I get my wife is a nurse practitioner, so
you get it.
She has the human body side of stuff. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and she'll start throwing these things out there, and I'm just fascinated by it. People with professional licenses, I just have such a great respect for, because like, you got to know your stuff, and you can definitely tell the difference between somebody who's just like maybe doing just enough to get by or have a business that funds a lifestyle, and the ones who are real deep researchers and that really care about people, the people that come, into their circle that are their responsibility, and just go dig deeper and work a little bit harder for them. So I love that. Can we just, I want to ask you an off the cuff question here.
Okay.
It's a little random.
Okay.
But there are a lot of personal injury attorneys who put a lot of money into billboards and trying to look tough. on those billboards. Do you have anything to comment about that? Because I play this game when I'm driving down the highway. I'm like, man, that guy really is working hard on like the tough guy image. I'll fight for you. You don't have to air any dirty laundry about your competition here, but what do you think about that? Because I've never had the chance to ask somebody in the field that question.
A lot of it is your marketing people. They'll pitch to you what they think is effective at that moment. You can certainly turn it down.
Yeah.
If you choose to.
Or turn it way up. The strong arm of the law.
So yeah, there you go. There you go.
Those are like Mission Impossible commercials. It's like, I just want a lawyer.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, it just depends. They all run, there's all a cycle with all of them.
Yeah.
The thing about it, though, is, I always tell folks, whenever you see the person on the billboard, whenever you call their office, ask to speak to them.
Right.
See if you can talk to them.
Right. Yeah.
And then call my office and see if you can talk to me.
That's a great point. That's a competitive advantage right there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because when I was in radio prior to, we worked with all of them, and it was this maze of trying to get to the person who's on the billboard. And it's like, when, I just think about it from my own perspective. I've never had to retain a personal injury attorney. But if I do, I'd like to know that I'm talking to the person who's making all these public promises out there.
Yeah.
I think that just, it makes the relationship better. It builds trust and confidence a lot more.
Yeah.
So how many phone calls would I have to go through to get to you at your office?
If I'm in the office, probably just one.
Okay.
Usually. Now, there is a screening process.
Yeah, of course.
There are folks that, want to come in and just meet with me like right then. I brought this box of documents and I want to meet with
I got a
Jackie.
case. I'm ready to sue.
And so there is a screening
Yeah,
process.
as there should be.
But, I've got a paralegal that's got over 20 years experience. And so, she knows whenever she'll come back there sometimes and say, hey, you need to come up here and meet this person. And then other times she'll say, let us look through your documents and schedule an appointment.
Yeah.
And so, it just depends.
Yeah.
But it's
that's
not that hard.
That's just good business.
It's not that
Anybody
hard
here watching this would expect that to be very reasonable. All right, we'll shift gears a little bit. I'll take you off the hot seat. What do you like about Wilmington?
Well, I'll confess, I'm a mountains girl.
Okay.
I really do love the mountains.
Doesn't make you a bad person, Jackie.
But I'll tell you, whenever we're filming this, we've had a little cold snap the past week or so.
Yeah.
And in the back of my head, I've been going, I want it to warm up.
Yeah.
So I might be
maybe you're
a
acclimatizing a little bit. Yeah.
There might be a change coming on here. I don't know. I mean, I'm sick of being chilly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's only in the 50s, but I'm like, it's cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I step outside and we have some property in Castle Haynes, so I don't see any neighbors at all. It's all trees, and I'm out there and I'm like, this kind of feels like some brisk mountain air the last couple of days. But
I really have. I've learned to. I love. We have. If you're a foodie, Wilmington's the place to be.
Yeah.
But for the past couple years, ever since I got here and got into a schedule, usually on Saturday mornings, except on these cold days, I'll pop in the car, pop down to the beach, sit out there drink my coffee on the beach for a couple hours, and then go to work.
Yeah.
I'll then pop into work and do a little quiet time on a Saturday. But, you can't do that anywhere else.
No.
That's just pretty awesome.
It's an incredible benefit. I do it every couple of Fridays. Before I come into the office, I'll drop my girls off at school. I'll go straight to the beach. Don't care the temperature. Just put my toes in the sand, get grounded there. And to me, that is just an unbelievable perk and benefit about living here. And it's free, and it takes 30 minutes out of my time. I'll grab a coffee at Sundays or at the workshop or something when I'm down there. And it's like, no matter what I'm being faced with, whether it's life or it's business or any of those other stressors, it's just like kind of washes away with the ocean. It's like, you know what? I can get through whatever season it is that I'm in right now. And that's just a great thing that we have about living here.
It's a perk.
Yeah,
it's
huge
awesome.
perk. Now, too many people are moving here.
That's right.
So we don't
tell
the
them.
bridge is under construction right now or something. Traffic is worse than it's ever been.
Right.
People in Wilmington are going crazy. There's no houses available. Come and visit. Spend your money. If you get hurt, call Jackie.
That's right.
Otherwise, Wilmington's getting full. I'm just joking.
It is full.
Pender, Brunswick, and Onslow, wide open.
Yes.
Wide open if you want to be close to Wilmington in the metro. So what are some of the community things that you like to be involved in or that you are involved in?
Yeah, that's one thing I think is really important. And since day one, since I moved here, I wanted to contribute to my community. I want to be a part of it. And I look at it kind of like, planting a garden. You plant a lot of seeds and the garden comes up. You don't see that at the beginning. And it's the difference between planting a garden and planting a tree. And so we do a lot of things, and they've kind of, grown over the past 3 years. But community involvement, financially, we support several different organizations, which I can tell you about. And then community-wise, I volunteer for several different things. And then education-wise, we have several things. We have our blogs, and we at one time we're writing an article every month for the Wilmington Business Journal. So we have blogs on our website. We have our podcast that we do called Laughter in the Law. We put that out about twice a month. And so we do that for educational purposes. And then, I can expand on the other things.
What are some of the organizations that you like to work with?
Community-wise, I love Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
And I just volunteered with them in December. Every time I finish it, I'm getting older now, and so a day with Habitat is a lot of times I'll show up and they'll go, "This is what we're doing today," and I'm like, "Oh,
backs and knees are going to be,
this is going to be fun." But anyway, I love, by the end of the day, you're so sore and you're so tired, but you go home just loving what you've done. So I love Habitat. We do that. I also sponsor ever since I moved here, I've been sponsoring a softball team with a group called Wilmington Wanderlust 2.0. And that's a bunch of transplants that just moved here.
Yeah.
And they have tons and tons of really cool things.
Do you play on the team?
I sponsor them.
You sponsor the team.
I sponsor.
That's sometimes more important than playing on said team.
And I cheer. I do show up and cheer.
Good.
And then financially, we have several things that we love to do. Mr. Flexner participated in Shop with a Cop for the Wilmington Fraternal Order of Police. We still do that. We actually do it twice a year now. I'm not sure that he did it twice a year, but we do it at Christmas as well as back to school. I love doing things with kids. I like the Matthew 25 approach, where the king said, "If you did it unto the least of these, then you've done it unto me." And he was talking about those that, need it, really need. And so we participate we've been a platinum sponsor, which I'm proud of the Mary Jenkins Scholarship Fundraiser. I think I'm doing that right. Am I doing that right? And it's, but every fall they give away hundreds of book bags in the Leland area.
Nice.
And so we've been very proud to be a part of that. And then, I'm a member of Life Community Church, and through Life Church, I know that we support various ministries that I've had the benefit of supporting through the church, like the Bear Foundation and the Lifeline Pregnancy Center. Yeah. And then we do some things beyond the community, and we also do things, throughout the state as well as national things.
You're a busy lady. You got anything else that you're working on?
Well, I also consider the least of these to be four-legged animals.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for anything with paws. And so I personally support an animal every month at the animal shelter. And I just go ahead and pay for it for the whole year.
Yeah.
It's honestly not that expensive. It's not like I'm doing something grandiose. It's just one dog, one sponsor.
People here love their dogs.
I know.
We have a lot of pet-friendly nonprofits in this town. They're all worth supporting.
They are.
We have a very, very vibrant animal community, it feels like here. So you're building houses, you're stuffing backpacks, you're walking dogs, you're going and cheering for softball teams, and you're going to church and all those other missions that are involved with churches. When do you have time to practice law?
I do that 6 days a week, about 12 hours a day.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's great. And you mentioned earlier on you have a son that went to UNCW here. Are you only son? Do you have other kids? Are they around here?
Yeah. I have a daughter. She actually moved here last year.
Nice.
She's my office manager now.
Great.
And she's...
I get it. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Making more sense.
So she moved here last year. My office manager that Mr. Flexner had, she retired. And so I was like, "Hey, I got an opening. You interested in moving to Wilmington?"
What's it like working with family?
I think it's great.
Do you?
I think my daughter has a great boss.
Yeah.
And
I would probably agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. Flexible work hours. Yeah. Nice, peaceful work environment.
That's right.
Yeah, we have two little girls. My wife has a medical practice up in Wrightsboro. And my 9-year-old and my now 5-year-old, they're kind of showing an interest in what it is that mom does. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, let's get them in there as early as we possibly can. One, because we can pay them an IRA. So if you don't know that,
that's right.
Pay your kids $6,500 a year right now into an IRA. They'll never have to worry about money when they get older. I do have licenses for this, but this is not a financial podcast. Helpful little disclaimer down there on that. But two, it gives you something to do together, and you can build together, and you can see like the fruits of your labor and all the hard work and long hours that go into being an overnight success, and build some resilience in your kids too as well. So I can't wait for ours to be old enough where I'm putting them on the phone in the front office, just smiling and dialing or taking calls as they come in. So.
That's great.
That's great. Couldn't advocate for that anymore. Anything else that you want people to know about you, Jackie, before we kind of wind this episode down?
I just, we don't advertise more than the big names, you know, but I just like people to know that we've been here for 25 years. Mr. Flexner had a great reputation, and I'm trying to carry on that reputation. And what I like about our firm is that you do get that personal touch. You're not, and other firms just have a different business plan. We just have, it's not that they're wrong. Yeah. It's just that this is the way that I like to run my business. I like to know every single case and know every single client. And if the phone rings and somebody wants to talk to me, they can talk to me. Or we can set up a telephone conference if I'm not available. But they know who they're going to deal with. And, I like that. I like that in every profession. Yeah. And so I look for that whenever I'm hiring somebody. And so, I just want people to know that whenever they see my face on a billboard or they see my face on TV, some people are surprised whenever they're there for their first meeting and I'm the one who walks in. They're like, "Oh, we get to meet with you."
Hey.
I'm like, "Yes, you get to meet with me." Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I think that's one of the things that makes Wilmington incredibly special. We're a small town statistically. We are a very fast-growing town statistically. But we've done a pretty good job historically to kind of keep out some of those like big national brands that sort of come in without any real identity or real attachment to the community in a way like what you just described. Like we're at all the places. Yeah. So if I can make any pitch to anybody that's listening to this or might see any of it is continue to support small businesses, continue to support the people that are in our town making a difference each and every day, whether it's a couple $100 check to a pet place or getting out and cheering on a softball team. That's right. What building community is all about.
Yes.
And the way that you can reciprocate with that is if you ever get in a car accident, it's somebody else's fault, and you want to take them to the mattresses, call Jackie.
That's right.
Did I say that right? Take them to the mattresses? Is that too mafia?
I haven't heard that in a while.
I think it was an episode of Seinfeld where they were like, one of them was all hot and bothered. And they were like, I'm going to take him to the mattresses. And it just kind of stuck with me.
That was probably Kramer.
Or Elaine. Could have been George. Really could have been any one of them. Such a brilliant show. Yeah. Jackie, if people want to get in touch with you, where should they go?
Our website is getflexner.com.
Okay.
And then, of course, we're located on Oleander Avenue, 3805 Oleander, where we've been for 25 years.
Right across the street from Whole Foods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent location.
I love it. It is.
And 2 doors down from Baskin Robbins.
Prime location. Oh yeah, you got lots of. You got Flaming Amy's burrito. I mean, you got a lot of stuff over there.
Oh, we do.
That Dave's Nashville hot chicken that's over there by the mall.
That's awesome.
Pretty good too. You're in a good spot. I wouldn't move.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Jackie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate you. Wish you all the best in the world. And that is going to do it for this episode of the Connect Cape Fear podcast. Until next time, go out, meet some new people, try some new things. Get involved with the people in your community and enjoy this beautiful place that we call home. We'll talk to you next time.